Okay, this is a little wild. I'm just gonna wait to see if people tune in and just do a little tech check before we get started. So make sure I've got all my files here. I think we're good to go. I hope everybody's tuning in. I don't know if everybody is pumped for the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I have no idea why I scheduled this on Super Bowl Sunday, but here we are. We're going to get started in just a minute, just waiting to see if some people tune in. Who do we got here? Feel free to say hi when you tune in. Based off of what I see on my end, I can't really see everything. All right, so we got a couple people tuning in. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody. Sorry so much for the delay. Hey Nathan, I was hoping that I was gonna get this up at noon, and then I got distracted because it was a really awesome conversation happening on Twitter, which is something that's amazing. But then also, when I started putting together the videos and everything, or when I was starting to do the voiceover for the videos, my computer was just crashing, so it was a bit of a mess. But that said, we're here, we're ready to go. Everybody, my name is Joey Fight. I'm the founder of thephysicaleducator.com and your host for the 2018 Phys Ed Awards. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of these ceremonies. I think it's something that we really should be celebrating as the online Phys Ed community, and I think it's really important sometimes to take a break just to recognize the hard work of others. If you have no idea what the Phys Ed Awards are, let me break them down really quick. Basically, a couple years ago, actually it was back in 2013, I started to realize that there were more people stepping up online who were either creating blogs or maintaining YouTube channels. A few people were even getting into podcasting back then. Basically, people who were taking time out of their super busy schedules to go out and create content for fellow teachers. Content of all types. So again, like blog posts, tweets, videos, podcasts, everything you can imagine, online courses, digital download resources, everything you could possibly want, and putting it out there really just to benefit all of the community. And I think that's something that's really special, and it's something that we should be celebrating. As a content creator myself, I know how much work goes into this. Even just these videos that I just produced just took me about 4 hours to make. But there's a ton of time that goes into it, and it's time where you're done teaching for a day. You've gone through the whole grind of your daily teaching routine. You're exhausted. You've got a family. You've got your hobbies or interests or anything like that you've got going on, and to be able to take time away from that to sit down and produce content that, yes, obviously benefits you in a way because it does serve as a professional tool for reflection, but really adds to the wealth of resources that teachers can find online. Resources that teachers are going to be searching for when they're stuck and they don't know where to go. Resources that teachers are going to stumble upon when they're taking part in professional learning experiences. Resources really that just help elevate all of our teaching game and really help raise the bar for Phys Ed. So when I started the Phys Ed Awards, it was really to celebrate those content creators who take that time, who put in the work, who deal with the frustration and just the anger and the uncomfortableness of creating online content, and to be able to go out and celebrate those people. So that's what the Phys Ed Awards are. I hadn't hosted them in a couple of years. The last time I hosted them was in 2014. I'm trying to bring them back. I'm really excited about the fact that so many people got involved. We had over 500 people in the voting process vote for their top picks, and I'm really excited to be announcing the winners today. So just so you know, again, like if you haven't been tuning in, if you're not quite sure what this is, first of all, the way that the Phys Ed Award works is this is an award ceremony for the community by the community. So what I do is I put out a call out and I ask people to submit who they believe should be nominees for the different categories. The categories being Best Phys Ed Blog, Best Phys Ed Twitter account, Best Phys Ed YouTube channel, Best Phys Ed Podcast, and then our final category, which is the top Phys Ed influencer. Basically somebody who touches in all those different categories and who really brought a ton of value to the community. So people submit names for nominees, and then based off of the popularity of the names are submitted, I then put forth the top 5 nominees. So the top 5 vote getters, those become our official nominees, and then we go through a second round of voting where people then pick their top picks based on those 5 nominees. So today that's what we're doing. This is a ceremony. So we're going to get ready to share who won in each category. And before I do that, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of the nominees. Whether you win or you don't win today, you should be extremely proud of all of the work you do. And I want to thank you as a teacher for all of the content that you've produced, because honestly, I'm one of those teachers who's going online and trying to find resources. I've had videos of different teachers who are nominated for best YouTube channel, them doing dances and my students following along. I've used games that teachers have shared online. I've taken advantage of your content. So thank you so much for taking the time to put in the work and just create this wonderful content for all of us. I think it was Kevin Tiller actually, who was nominated in a ton of categories this year, said earlier this week when he found out that he was one of the nominees that really the people who benefit most here are the kids. The children get the most out of it, our students get the most out of it. So at the end of the day, you know, when you're seeing your resources up in somebody's gym, or you're hearing how one of your resources really push somebody's thinking and help them raise the bar for their own teaching, really the end user there, the people who get the most out of it are the students. And that's really why we do this. So that said, we're going to get into our first category. So the way this works is that I've created a couple videos where I'm going to introduce the category, introduce the nominees. Our first category is one that's very near and dear to my heart because it's one that I have a really hard time with in terms of the content that I produce, and that is the best phys ed blog. So blogging is no easy thing to do. It is an incredible way for you to reflect on your teaching. But you know, it can be really challenging, it can be really frustrating, it can be really intimidating because you have to sit down, you're worried about how people are going to interpret your words, you're worried about what people are going to think about your teaching, you're worried about how people are going to challenge your ideas, but you still sit down and you put out that work, and you have to build your website, and you have to maintain your website, and you have to deal with your website when it crashes, and you have to do all of these things to be able to keep those ideas up there so that people continue to come back to your blog and continue to learn from you and share your ideas and really just get that kind of window into your teaching. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the nominees and the winner for Best Phys Ed Blog. The first category in the 2018 Phys Ed Awards is Best Phys Ed Blog. Here are your nominees: Drowning in the Shallow, Keeping Kids in Motion, PE for Every Kid, Slow Chat PE, and The PE Specialist. And the 2018 Best Phys Ed Blog is The PE Specialist. So huge congrats to Ben. If you don't follow Ben's work, let me just get his name up here for you. If you don't follow Ben Lander's work, he has an amazing website called The PE Specialist. It's a blog that I've gotten ideas from. My Conflict Corner was originally Ben's idea, my version of the Conflict Corner. And just all of the work that Ben does, he has amazing resources for jump rope, just really everything. What I love about Ben's blog so much is that it's very, very real. What you see is exactly what I think you would see if you were sitting down in Ben's class, just checking out his teaching. He does a wonderful job at getting stuff out there, and honestly, across all, you'll see he's nominated in a couple different categories today. He just does incredible work. So the PESpecialist.com is the best blog of 2018. Congratulations, Ben Landers. You're fully deserving this award. I hope this drives a ton of traffic to your site so people can just discover your work even more. So thank you. Definitely check that out. So moving on here, because I know people have got Super Bowl plans. But our second award here was one of the first awards as part of the original Phys Ed Awards, and that is Best Phys Ed Twitter Account. So Twitter has been very near and dear to my heart over the years. It was really my first look into professional development online. It was the first place where I started building community with other teachers online. You know, back in 2010, finding another phys ed teacher online was like finding a unicorn. It just wasn't something that was really easy to do. And when you did stumble upon somebody who was talking about phys ed, you just jumped on the opportunity to connect with them. I remember back then there were so many Australians who were doing it, so people like Jarrod Robinson and Brendan Jones and then Paddle Jones. Those guys were really the guys that I started following early on, and I'd get up in the middle of the night to just see what they're tweeting about and engage with their tweets so we can start building that community. So Twitter, again, it might seem like nothing. If you're not a Twitter user, I really suggest that you check it out. It's an incredible platform. Basically, you're sending out these small messages called tweets. Think of them as like micro blog posts. They used to be 140 characters. They're now 280 characters, thank God, because I think the amazing conversation that we were having earlier that had me distracted would have been way more frustrating if I had to break my tweets up in 140 characters at a time. But what's great about Twitter is that's an awesome place for professional conversation. There's these big open discussions that are happening online, and anybody, no matter how many followers you have, no matter how much experience you may have, anybody can just jump into these conversations and take part and share their opinions and share their thoughts and share their ideas. And I think that's what's so valuable about Twitter, is that you get easy access to all of these different perspectives in real time. It's happening so fast, and it's so inviting to anybody to just jump in and be a part of it. It's why things like PE Chat, which is a bi-monthly Twitter chat that I host, ESPE Chat, which is an amazing P chat too, Slow P Chat, Slow Health Chat, all these chats are booming because of the fact that people recognize that, because of the fact that you can join into the chat at any time, you can respond to things at any time. It really makes it for a great way for us to challenge each other's ideas, to dig deeper into our thoughts, and just get the most value out of the platform. So that being said, here are the nominees and the winner for Best Phys Ed Twitter Account. The next category of the 2018 Phys Ed Awards is Best Phys Ed Twitter Account. Here are your nominees. I'm Sporticus, Justy Bub PE, Love Phi-Ed, Phys Ed Depot, and Phys Ed Review. And the winner of the 2018 Best Phys Ed Twitter account is Justy Bub PE. All right, congratulations, Justin. So Justy Bub PE is Justin Cahill, and he has done incredible work. If you just go to his Twitter account, you'll see that he's sharing all kinds of amazing resources, either sharing his own creative stuff, videos from his teaching, or retweeting amazing stuff that he finds online. It's an incredible resource. He's super active online. I'm really glad. Let me just get his name up here one more time. I'm super pumped that he got this award, that he's getting this recognition so that more people can discover his work and just be inspired by everything that he does online. So congratulations, Justin. He was up for a couple of other awards too tonight. He really is deserving. I'm glad to see that he got it. So moving along here. So our next awards category. Oh wait, before we jump into the next one, I just want to remind you. So these Facebook Live events, I'm going to be doing these. I'm trying to do them once a month. January was one heck of a month. I don't know about you, but it was a wild month. But I am trying to do these things once a month, and it's all part of my show, which is the Phys Ed Show. So the Phys Ed Show is a podcast, it's a vlog on my YouTube channel, and it's a series of live events here on Facebook. And really what I do is I share ideas for my teaching, resources that I'm creating, just things that I'm exploring. So hopefully that you'll be able to tune in and learn a little bit and maybe help me learn a lot as well. I totally do these things for selfish reasons. But I really hope that you'll consider checking out the Phys Ed Show. If you want to learn more, you can just go to physed.show. That's the link that will take you right to the page on my website, and you can see all the different forms. I have a new podcast coming out this week with Dr. Amanda Stanek, which is amazing. So yeah, I wish Justin Timberlake, I tried to get him, but he said no. But I hope I'll have that new podcast out this week and you'll find value in it. So I know I was going to suit up, Colin. You're saying the tuxedo. I was going to suit up for the awards, and then I was like, I won't suit up. I was going to get a bottle of champagne and whatnot. My wife kind of gave me dirty looks, so I decided against it. Okay. So our next category is what I consider to be one of the most challenging forms of content to create. This category is for the Best Phys Ed YouTube channel. If you've never created video before, if you've never worked with video before, it is the most annoying thing in the world. Everything from just getting the right shots to recording the audio to having the right equipment. Just everything you try and do when producing video is just wildly frustrating from start to finish. as you can tell by the amount of time it took me to try and fix my videos for today. And the fact that people go out of their way to produce YouTube content, to share with teachers, that either, give a teacher a very clear picture of what teaching looks like in their gyms, or that provide teachers with visual resources that then they can share with their students. You see a lot of that. So everything from dances to games to videos that you can follow along to, workout videos. The video content is extremely powerful. It's very, very time consuming. It's not easy to produce. So that's why I think it's so important that we have the Best Phys Ed YouTube channel to really recognize and celebrate those content creators who are focusing on video as their medium. So that said, here we go with the nominees for the Best Phys Ed YouTube channel. The next category in the 2018 Phys Ed Awards is Best Phys Ed YouTube channel. Here are your nominees: Ben Landers, Ben Pirillo, Brandon Herwick, Kevin Tiller, and Phys Ed Games. And the 2018 Best Phys Ed YouTube channel is Ben Pirillo. All right, so congratulations, Ben. So Ben Pirillo is the 2018 Best Phys Ed YouTube channel. I'm so pumped that it was Ben. Again, Ben is one of those teachers, I didn't want to give it away earlier, whose videos I've used in my teaching. My students have seen Ben. I was like, this is Ben, he's from Texas. My kids know his dances. They love everything he does. He has all kinds of amazing content on his YouTube channel. He also has an amazing website, which is teachphysed. Is it teachphysed.com, teachphysed.weebly.com? Anybody in the comments, let me know. But Ben is an incredible person. I've had the chance to meet him a couple times in person, and the character, the personality you see in his videos is it truly represents who he is. He's a blast. He's incredibly passionate, and he's just super dedicated to everything he does. So I'm so pumped that Ben, I'm glad to hear that, Alex. I'm so pumped that Ben got this nomination and this award. But honestly, congrats to all of the nominees, because again, it's just a super difficult medium to work with, but it really brings a ton of value. So our fourth category is this wasn't a part of the original Phys Ed podcast. Oh, sorry, the original Phys Ed Awards back in 2013, because back then there weren't a lot of podcasts out and about. And then in 2014, we started seeing a few. And now in 2018, it's insane. There's so many great Phys Ed podcasts. Podcasts have really gained in popularity over the couple of years. If you're not a podcast listener, honestly, there are so many great shows out there, not just Phys Ed, but just great shows in general. And what I love about podcasts is, I walk to work every day. It's a decent walk. It's about 3K there and back. 3K there, 3K back. So it gives me a lot of time to listen to podcasts. So having something that I can listen to while I'm walking allows me to continue to learn in those times where really I wouldn't really be doing anything else except just looking around. So to all the creators who create podcasts, oftentimes you'll either have creators who are just sharing things from their teaching, or creators who are interviewing amazing people who you can learn from. Just all kinds of great content that people are producing that are specific to Phys Ed. So this next award goes out to the Best Phys Ed Podcast of 2018. Let's go right into the nominees. The next category of the 2018 Phys Ed Awards is Best Phys Ed Podcast. Here are your nominees: the Global Phys Ed Voxcast with host Jorge Rodriguez, the Open Forum Podcast with host Mike Miller and Mike Martinez, Run Your Life with Andy Vasily, the Shape America Podcast with hosts Matt Pomeroy, Colin Brooks, and Stephanie Sandino, and the PE Umbrella with host Ryan Ellis. And the winner of the 2018 Best Phys Ed Podcast is the Global Phys Ed Voxcast with host Jorge Rodriguez. So congratulations to Jorge Rodriguez for the Global Phys Ed Voxcast. Honestly, let me just get it up here. If you have not checked out any podcast before, this is definitely the podcast that I think that you should start off. Jorge does an amazing job at just putting out content on a regular basis and has incredible interviews. And the way that he goes about the interviews, where you have different people involved in the actual interview process, is just amazing. But honestly, all the podcasts that were nominated were great listens. And what's fun when you discover a podcast that you've never heard about before, and a podcast that's been around for a while, is that you can go back and listen to all of those episodes and get so much value out of it. So congratulations to Jorge, and congratulations to all the other nominees. Honestly, it's so cool that we have a category now where you have so many great creators that are focused on that medium. So thank you to everybody who produces all these podcasts and does great work. So our last category is kind of the big one, and this is for the top phys ed influencer. So there's some people online, when you start connecting with teachers, either you're in Facebook groups, or you're on Twitter, or you're on Voxer, or you're checking out YouTube, or you're listening to podcasts, whatever it may be, you see some names everywhere. And what's incredible with that is that there are some people who are out there who are trying their best to have the biggest impact possible by creating as much content in as many different forms possible. These are the people whose ideas really permeate through your teaching and become part of your online experience. And that's why this award's called the Top Phys Ed Influencer, because these are the true influencers who have a huge impact on our profession in general, throughout the year and throughout the past years. So I just want to say that, like, before I give out the nominees here, really just think of how big of an impact each of these people had. Sometimes you forget, you see people's like resources up on walls in the background and pictures that people are sharing on Facebook or Twitter, or you catch yourself using language that you don't even remember where necessarily you got it from, but it's part of who you are now as a teacher. That's the kind of work that an influencer does. They have a huge impact on a profession overall. They have a huge impact on your teaching, and you're so used to just seeing their work all over the place that it just feels like it's always been part of the culture of phys ed. So our final award today, the big one, is Top Phys Ed Influencer. Here are the nominees and your winner for 2018. The final category of the 2018 Phys Ed Awards is Top Phys Ed Influencer. Here are your nominees: Aaron Hart, Ben Landers, Jarrod Robinson, Kevin Tiller, and Terry Drain. And the winner of the 2018 Top Phys Ed Influencer is Jarrod Robinson. So huge congratulations to Jarrod Robinson, the PE geek, the original PE geek, Mr. Robbo on Twitter. Honestly, if you're connecting with people online, if you're taking part of the phys ed online community, there is no way that you have not felt the influence of Jarrod Robinson to some degree. Everything from a super influential website, thepegeek.com, which really has blown my mind over the years in the way that he's used technology. He's been a huge inspiration for me in terms of the way that I've integrated technology into my teaching. From his PE Geek podcast, to the videos that he's produced, to the Connected PE webinars and events. Jarrod really does it all. We've joked before that he might be from the future, and honestly, I'm still not sure if he isn't. But there's nobody here who can say that they've not been influenced or affected in some way by his work. So a huge congrats goes out to Jarrod. Honestly, he's wildly deserving. He's done so much for all of us that it's nice to see him get that award. So that is our awards ceremony for 2018. Again, I just want to say a huge congratulations to all of the nominees. Honestly, you're all already champions, like Stephanie said in the comments earlier, because of the fact that you're taking this time to really further progress our profession. And without you, without your passion, without your influence, without your hard work, without your inspiration, I don't know that phys ed would be where it would be today. So thank you so much for all that you do. For all of you who are watching who are not current content creators, I really, really would recommend that you consider it. Um, when I started creating content online, I remember the first big thing that I created online was my phys ed games database. And the reason I created it is because when I was in university, I had to create this games binder, and I really respected the prof who was teaching that course. And my games binder was horrible. I handed in a hot piece of garbage. I completed it like the night before, and I always felt so guilty about it. And years later, when I first started the website, which looked horrible, it was super ugly, I started thinking, okay, well, like, what kind of value could I bring to the world? And I was like, why don't I start putting up some games? And I started creating those games. And I remember as I was creating them, it really pushed me to reflect on, okay, well, how are these games? What are these games' rules? How can I break this game down? How can you modify this game? So I started pushing myself into my own teaching. And then when I put the games database out, I was like, oh, it's the Teaching Games for Understanding database. I got called out. I got called out right off the bat after putting like 300 hours of work into these game PDFs that I was putting out. Somebody called me out saying that, this isn't truly teaching games for understanding. You should better understand the model. And I was super frustrated, and I was kind of angry, and I was a little discouraged. But that's all part of that creative process. As annoying as it sounds, you become stronger in your teaching, you become stronger in terms of who you are as a person because of that process. And I got to work. I started reading, I was looking up articles, I was reading books. I connected with the amazing Kellyanne Perry, who was doing a scholars tour, and she was here in Montreal. And I learned more about the model, and we produced some content for it. We created a video resource that you can find on Twitter or on YouTube. And because the fact that I was willing to put something out, I got so much back. I became a better teacher because of the content that I created for others, because it pushed me to reflect on my own practices and pushed me to be a better teacher. It's super intimidating when you go from not being a content creator to being a content creator. But if you just take that first step, be it you write a tweet, or maybe you create a small blog post, or you create a small short video for Instagram, or something like that. If you just take that first step and you put your work out there, you'll find all of a sudden that you've thrown yourself onto this journey of professional learning that you never would have thought you would have been on. And it's going to take you to all kinds of amazing places. It's going to help you become a better teacher. It's going to help you better serve the most important people, which are your students. So in 2018, if you've been on the fence about, getting online in terms of like joining conversations or starting a blog or creating a YouTube channel, whatever it may be, I really recommend you take that first step. And pro tip, I'm telling you this from experience, no matter what, no matter how many hours you pour into it, no matter how hard you try, years from now, when you look back on your first content, you're going to think it's terrible. So don't worry about making it perfect, because no matter what, you're going to look back on it and think it's imperfect. But at least it was that first step that got you going. So make 2018 the year that you create. Make 2018 the year that you put in the work. Make 2018 the year that you add value to the wealth of knowledge and the wealth of resources that we're building online on the internet. And yeah, thank you all so much for everything that you do for students. Thank you all so much for everything you do for physical education. Keep creating, keep working hard, keep doing everything you're doing. If there's any way that I can support you, or if I can just help point you in the right direction, whatever it is, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Whoever you're cheering for in the Super Bowl, I really don't watch NFL, so I'm not going to even pretend. But whoever you're cheering for, I hope it's a great game. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you soon. Happy teaching.